Woo! I'm so excited! 2 hours to go, not even 2 hours to go, 1 hour to go until the start of the Euros. I cannot wait. We've got a crown to defend, my Italian fellow friends and colleagues. We've got a crown to defend. We're not the favourites, but that does not mean that we're not going to put up a fight and never rule us off. We have got a crown to defend. And mark my words, I'm going to say this right now. The Euro 2024 final, the 10th of July, whenever it is, Berlin, Olympia Stadion, Italy against France, Euro 2024 final, Mbappe scores, and then Scamacca scores, and then it's 1-1, and then with 10 minutes to go until the end of the game, corner kick for Italy, Mancini heads it in, and Italy win the Euros and eliminate and lift the trophy in front of their biggest enemies. Enemies for life. I'm sorry, French friends, but it's coming to Rome again. Yes, it is. We're in this together, and my heart beats together. Right, I'm very excited for this. We're here to speak about Roma, as always. Welcome to Roma Theory to everybody. We've got some big news on the Bellanova front. Fabrizio Romano has specifically talked about this yesterday evening in this Italian interview thing, which says that he basically said that Roma is aiming to sprint on the Bellanova front, that they want to start negotiations as soon as possible with Torino, put up a bid and try to secure Bellanova, who, according to De Rossi, is his biggest priority. Moreover, we've got some other rumors on Morata. Right now, out of all the strikers that we've been linked with, it feels like today, the Friday the 14th of June, it feels like Morata is the one which could happen, the easiest out of all. And then we also have some news on the Friedkins, Everton. In England, there are some sources saying that the Friedkins are the favourites to buy Everton and become owners of that club. So I'm a bit worried for this. Again, I said this last week whenever the rumors came out, but I don't think it's a good thing from our perspective. From the perspective of fans of this team, it's definitely not good news, and I'm definitely going to delve deeper into that as well. But right, lads, if you're ready for the Euros, I mean, let me know where you're from. Let me know if your country is going to participate in the Euros. Hit the like, subscribe, do all of that down below if you haven't already. And let's get into this. Bellanova, what a signing this would be. This would probably be the perfect signing for our right back position. It's not going to be easy. Because I think there are two main reasons as to why this deal is not going to be an easy deal. Number one, Torino and Cairo, Torino's owner, is very, very, very strict when it comes to transfer rules. He's somebody who's not arrogant. I mean, you can't call him arrogant. This is his job. He needs to try and cash in. But he's somebody who doesn't give in on the demands of other clubs. Like, if you want one of his players, you gotta pay the money. And in many occasions, he kind of pumps up the price tag of some of these players. So that's the number one problem. Number two is the fact that Bellanova, I'd be very surprised if we are the only team interested in Bellanova. I believe, of course, he was an Inter player. He then got sold to Torino, but he's had a pretty good season. I mean, Torino overall, I don't think had a particularly amazing season. But let's not forget that they did scrape. They were about to get in the Conference League with a little bit of help from Fiorentina. They didn't manage to get into the Conference League. I think that the season for Torino has been full of ups and downs, which is normal for a team like Torino. It's not constructed to kind of get in European tournaments, I think. But Bellanova was definitely one of their biggest players. He's somebody who dominates that right flank, and this is somebody this is literally the player we lacked this is the player that we need. Somebody who, like in terms of speed, dominates that flank. Because if we can get somebody as a right back, as our starting right back, who can dominate that flank, dominate duos on that flank, put good crosses, and ultimately also defend well, that's 40% of the job done. Like, look, under De Rossi, if you compare the goals scored stats, compared Mourinho to De Rossi, one of the things that De Rossi changed compared to Mourinho was the goals that we scored. And we scored an average of I think it was 2.8 goals every single game since De Rossi came. An average of 2.8 goals with fullbacks who can't cross the ball. That's like asking a blind person to read a book to you. How do you do it? So it's kind of a miracle that we've scored that many goals since De Rossi came in without good fullbacks. Because Cilic had a good game against Milan and a good game against Empoli in the last game week of the season. But apart from that, yes, okay, he had some really good moments, but he wasn't impressive. Christensen, never good. Karsdorp, don't even get me started about that guy. And on the other side, you have Angelino, who's got subbed in really well, but majority of the season he wasn't there. Spinazzola was always injured. And Zalewski, again, we all know what happened with him. So it really is getting a good right back in modern football is sorting 40% of your squad problems out. And if you're Roma, the number one squad problem was exactly this season. Weak fullbacks who weren't good at attacking, they were not good at crossing, and ultimately they weren't even good at defending. So if we can get Bellanova, I think this team improves from this to this with just one signing. You know, I really do think this. I think Bellanova is a perfect striker. Do I think Bellanova is a phenomenal player? No. Because, number one, if he was a phenomenal player, he wouldn't be at Torino right now. And number two, if he was a phenomenal player, Inter wouldn't have let him go this easy. Because Inter have a really good eye in terms of transfers. So, Bellanova isn't phenomenal, but Bellanova is phenomenal compared to the other fullbacks that we have. And this is exactly what we need right now. And what Fabrizio Romano said yesterday is that Roma is starting talks with Torino, which is good. Start them early with Torino, because Torino's board is a very complicated board to negotiate with. So Fabrizio said that the number one priority for De Rossi is exactly this. It's a right back. It's a full back. Because De Rossi really knows that the strengths and the threats that this team can give if it has good flanks. And yeah, Fabrizio did say that. There was a meeting yesterday at Trigoria. De Rossi was present, Lina was present, Ghisolfi was present, Maurizio, I believe somebody who works with Lina Soluku was also present, and the two Friedkins were also present on a video call where they discussed about transfers. And apparently De Rossi has stated multiple times how the number one priority for the signings is a right back, and he's put the name of Bellanova, again showing how he really wants Italian players into this team. Another interesting thing about that meeting is that the Friedkins have kind of put forward the idea that De Rossi is at the center of the decisions of the transfer window, which I think is very interesting because, as we said a few days ago, in these last 2 years, Mourinho definitely wasn't in the center of the transfer window. So it would be interesting to see what we can do with more freedom in the transfer window, because we've got less pain from the FFP situation. And I'd be also very interested to see how we move into the transfer window with the manager's requests in the middle. And apparently Angelo Mangiante also has confirmed this, that the two priorities that De Rossi has asked for are Chiesa and Bellanova. Whether they're going to happen, I don't know. The Friedkins are definitely going to try and make this happen, but we all know the competition is high for both players. So we'll see what happens. Again, Bellanova, similar to Chiesa, is at the Euros. His first game is tomorrow against Albania. So maybe his value is going to increase. Maybe the competition is going to rise if he has a good tournament. We'll see. But Bellanova, Fabrizio said this yesterday, Roma is sprinting and has prepared a little sprint on this Bellanova front, which I think is very, very, very interesting. Right, Morata. By the way, anybody who just joined, if you haven't already, please do hit the like. Also, in the live chat, Euros are starting in 60 minutes. Let me know your team, let me know your country, and we can all wish yourselves good luck, even though Italy will win. I don't want to jinx it, Quebec, don't worry, but it's coming to Rome. Raul Bellanova is a perfect name for us. His age, technical skills, and defending rate class. The definition of investment. Yeah, so the investment for this, Torino is asking for 25 million price tag. Roma want to offer 50 million plus a player. Now the player could be Kumbulla, the player could be Zaleski, the player could also be a player from the academy. So we'll see how it goes, but Roma definitely don't want to just cash out on this. They do also want to include a player to water that price tag down. I'm Albanian. Can you be honest? What do you think the score will be for Italy, Albania tomorrow? I think 2-0 Italy. Yeah, I do. That's my honest prediction. Again, that might be biased, but if we don't win tomorrow, no disrespect to your country, we are really close friends, we are. Politically, we're really good friends. Sports, we're really good friends. We respect Albania, and Albania respects us. So no disrespect to Albania whatsoever, but if we don't win tomorrow, we're screwed. So I'm going to go 2-0. Start solid. Pellegrini and Scamacca to score. I'm German, and I think they can win. Would also love to see Italy win. It says Trashim. Thank you very much. Croatian here, and I think that Croatia will win in the Euros. Very interesting. Good luck. Hi Simo, just joined. Maybe you already talked about that, but do you think he can be able to play also in a 4 defense instead of 5? That's a very good point. Bellanova is way better at playing in a 5 defense than a 4 defense. So that's a very interesting point. That's something that De Rossi needs to see. But if De Rossi really wants him, then he definitely has studied and analysed this situation too. Napoli and Conte wants him as well. Yes. Also Chiesa. You think Morata or Jonathan David will be your striker? Right, yeah. Speaking about Morata. I put polls. I put a poll on the Roma Theory TV Instagram. It feels like the majority wants Morata to happen. Oh shit. Fuck. I need to turn off the oven. Right, sorry about that. Oh my lord. I think I burnt a little bit of a cake. I think my sister's gonna kill me for that. Sorry about that. Yeah, my sister was baking a cake and then she went out and said, please be careful, don't burn it. And I think I messed it up. It's not that burnt. Right, what were we speaking about? Morata. Yeah, it feels like the majority of the people want Morata because they've seen the need of buying a proven striker compared to a young striker. They definitely took in consideration the risks of spending a lot of money on a generational striker than spending X money on a proven player who is gonna come in and guarantee you a certain number of goals. I think, look, I did a Morata live stream yesterday, so I don't want to repeat myself, but what I will say here is people who don't want Morata. Now I'm the first. Look, I'll be honest with you. Morata is not my first striker pick. It's not my first striker pick. But I will also be honest with you and say that not wanting Morata and completely opposing the Morata signing, the question that I ask you if you oppose the Morata signing is, do you think we could get anything better than Morata? Because anyone who opposes the Morata signing, fine, okay, perfectly fine. But then my question to you is, who do you want? Because you need to take in consideration the fact that maybe Morata might be the best striker that we can get this summer. In terms of age, yes, right now he's perfect, but it's not a long-term signing. It's not a long-term investment. He's going to stay here 2, maybe 3 years and then leave. And you're not going to cash in on it because you're not going to sell him for half the amount of money you bought him for. So with that being said, I fully agree with everybody who says, you know what, actually it's maybe better to spend the money on a young striker and keep him for the next 5 years. And that is what you call an investment, because if you buy a young striker, number one, you can grow him, you can develop him, and number two, if you don't like him, he's still young, you can try and resell him for more money than what you bought him for. So that's definitely, I fully buy this argument for people who say this. But I'm also aware that a potential trio, which consists of Dybala, Chiesa and Morata, I'm not saying it's going to happen. This is not what I'm saying. I'm basing myself on rumors here. But Chiesa, Dybala and Morata, you can't say no to it. You can't go, oh, that's disgusting. Like, no, I don't want that. Because it's certainly a trio which knows what it's doing. It's not towards the end of his career. They know how they've played together, so the chemistry doesn't lack. And most importantly, they will guarantee goals. So, concluding, kind of what I said yesterday, I would much rather spend 20 million on Morata than 40 million on Omar. That, yes. If we can then lower the price tag and the amount of money for Omar, maybe I'd rethink it. But 40 million for a kid is crazy. It is absolutely crazy. And we are in no position to do that right now. So, with that being said, I wouldn't mind Morata. Now again, people might ask, is Morata better than Lukaku? I think the two are very similar. I think the two are players which have, both are similar in terms of age, both are similar in terms of, how they play, and both are similar in terms of proven, great sense of positioning, can guarantee you goals. The differences lays in the fact that Lukaku's more of a physical, bulky striker, and Morata is more of a fast, moving towards the depth striker. But in terms of goals scored, I think Morata and Lukaku would guarantee very similar stats. So, yeah, I think Morata and Lukaku are very similar. Out of the two, if I could pick somebody, I would probably pick Lukaku, but they are very similar. Very, very similar. I think it's a very similar investment to the Lukaku investment, with the difference that it's not a loan and the salary would be less than what Lukaku would earn. It would be similar, but it would be less than what Lukaku would earn. Right, and then the last thing which I do want to talk about is in England, they are almost convinced that the Friedkins are going to become the new owners of Everton. I absolutely hate this. I really do not like this. I don't, because people say, oh well, you should be happy that the Friedkins are building a monopoly in football. You should be happy that the Friedkins are building their image and that they're building this that they're investing more money into the football area so that they can create a monopoly of teams and make themselves look bigger. Okay, that is good, but that is good from an owner investment entrepreneurship point of view. For Roma fans, what's the difference if the Friedkins own me, and if the Friedkins own me, Everton, and that stupid French team that they own in the 3rd division? So from a business point of view, yeah, great. Of course, it's great for them. Like, if they can present their family image with 3 teams behind them, a team which is, I'm not saying the biggest team in Italy, no, but a very big team in Italy, a pretty big historic club in England, and then the third team, forget about it, then obviously the image is great for them. But from a Roma fan point of view, you cannot like this. They are gonna devote. They're gonna share the attention. So that means that they're already not present with Roma because they're barely ever here and they barely ever speak. If they sign Everton, this is gonna half. Like if they're barely here right now with only one football club that they own, then I could only imagine the situation if they own Everton as well. And then the most important thing isn't the fact that yes, for sure, finances, investments, club investments, money that they put is going to be divided by the two teams. But the most important thing here is that I do not believe this idea that don't worry, Roma fans, I will forever keep you in the middle and at the center of my football monopoly. You are the team which I will care the most about, and then I've got Everton and Cannes on the two sides. I don't believe that. I do not believe that. That is propaganda. That is propaganda shit for us Roma fans. Because the second a businessman enters in the Premier League circulation of money, he's gonna get illusioned by it. He's gonna get completely attracted by it, and he's gonna completely forget about Italian football and how it's decaying and how it's not even comparable to Premier League football. That he's gonna let Roma go slowly, and he's going to massively increase his attention on Everton. Adding on to this, Everton are literally about to unveil their new stadium, one of the biggest stadiums in Europe, next to the river, completely new, modern, high-tech infrastructure. You are telling me that new stadium, massive attraction, massive money, Premier League, worldwide, global attention, it's way easier to get money back from a Premier League team than Italy, because we've seen it. Look at the amount of obstacles that owners in Italy face. They want to build a stadium, they can't build a stadium because the politics doesn't allow it, the government won't allow it. In England, they're about to buy a team which is 3 months away from unveiling a completely new stadium. So I don't believe the story of, oh, don't worry, Roma fans, I'm going to buy Everton, but I'm going to keep you in the center of my dreams, and I'm going to still I'm going to still treat you as my favorite kid. That is bullshit to me, because the second they get into the Premier League world of business, we're gonna be abandoned. That's the solution. And then what's probably gonna happen is that the fans are gonna protest about this, so they're gonna force them to sell, and we're gonna find somebody who buys us. That's how it's gonna go. It's written. So, and also adding on to this, the other problem here, which again isn't a problem because Everton been shit for the past 10 years, but starting from 2026, if I'm not wrong, if by any chance Roma and Everton find themselves in the same European Cup, then one of the two teams is going to get absolutely fingered if the owners don't sell. They are. Because starting from 2026, UEFA have set out the rule that no owner can own two different teams in the same European tournament. So I know Everton are shit, and I know that they've been fighting not to get relegated for the past 10 years, but let's just say that in 2027, Roma go in the Champions League, and Everton go in the Champions League. I don't know how they would do this, but let's say, or in the Europa League to make it a bit more real. What happens? What happens? They would need to find a team, they would need to find an investment group which would be interested in buying us in a very short little amount of time. Or they leave one of the two teams out. But then why would they do that? The fans are going to completely go out of their mind. So that's another thing to consider. I really do know that Everton, probably I won't be here the day Everton will qualify for Europe. But, you never know. If they come in, completely solve out the depths, start investing in that team, and start building a team, and somehow, out of the miracle book, they go play in Europe in the same tournament as us, I hope Everton would get fingered, because I definitely do not want to get absolutely fucked by Dan Friedkin. Like, that's the last of my nightmares. So that's the other thing to consider. Right, my friends, let me read a few comments. Bro forgot to turn off the oven. I did, and 5 minutes ago, I actually heard the door to my house open. So, if I'm here tomorrow, then I'm not dead. That's all I'll say. Roma owner has to sell team to buy Everton. No, that's not true. That's not true. The Roma owners would only be forced to sell a team if both teams qualify for Europe. I mean, they wouldn't be forced to do it, but in order for both teams to play the European tournament, they would be forced to sell. So, yeah, no, that's not true that they need to sell a team to buy Everton. I think that's why Lina was hired. Also, the only good thing about this is that it'll be easier to do transfers and exchange players. Yeah, that's not bad, but that's the only positive thing. You cannot name any other positive from this. Everton were in Europe a few years ago, only been fighting relegation for 2 years. Yeah, I mean, it was an exaggeration, but Everton lately have been shit. So, especially with how there's this massive gap forming from Premier League sides, I find it very hard for Everton to qualify for Europe. But you never know. Like, you never know. And I do not want to get fingered by Dan Friedkin. So, I am not a big fan of this move that involves Everton. I'm not a big fan of them creating this monopoly in football. Like, we need a peaceful environment to work in, and we shouldn't be the slaves of money, finances, economy, and business. We should be the slaves of passion, and unfortunately, the Friedkins aren't passionate about this team. They're just here to make money, and they just introduced their brand into football to enlarge it and to get the most money from it. That's the truth. So, yeah. With the money around Premier League and the new stadium, it could be easier for them to make value out of Everton and sell it for a higher price. Exactly. That's exactly my point. And in order to do that, they're gonna use all of that enthusiasm at Everton, build on it, which is gonna withdraw them from Roma. So I'm not a big fan of this, but again, we can't do anything about it. If they buy Everton, they could buy Tammy. Yeah, but true, I guess. Right, I'm going to catch you tomorrow. Hit the like, subscribe to the channel. If you're buzzing for the Euros, let me know in the comments who you support, where you're from, and if your country is at the Euros. Germany gets Scotland tonight. What a game. I mean, the pubs in Germany are going to be absolutely filled. Tonight, trust me, the German percentage of usage of alcohol is going to rise by 20% after Scottish and German fans are going to invade all the pubs. If there were two countries which you drink the most beer, it's probably Germany and Scotland. So Germany and Scotland together in a football game is going to massively higher that alcohol consumption rate in Germany tonight. So make sure to watch out for that. Right, I'm gonna go prediction tonight. I'm gonna go 2-0 Germany as well. But we'll see what happens. I cannot wait. Enjoy Euro 2024 month, everybody, and I'll speak to you soon. Dai Italia, Forza Azzurri, it's coming to Rome. See you, Mo.